Hello everyone. We welcome you all to the Zoho Creator Insights webinar. Topic of today's webinar is widgets. Myself Sujil. I'm from Zoho Creator Solutions team. I will be the host for this webinar session today. So before getting started, let me share few general instructions. This webinar is hosted in Zoho's own product, that is Zoho Backstage. All attendees here will be on mute throughout the session. In case if you have any queries, please make use of the questions tab. And the recording of this webinar will be sent to everyone through email. Also, please participate in the post-session survey and share your valuable feedbacks. Let me first walk you through the agenda of this webinar. We will start with a brief introduction of Zoho Creator, and we'll see the default UI customization options available. Then we will get into the detailed explanation of widget, and we will see the overview of widget configuration process. And then we will see the detailed explanation of it stage by stage. Then we will discuss the data communication between creator and the widget. At last, we will see the limitations of widget, and we'll wind up this with a Q&A session. Starting with the introduction of Zoho Creator. Zoho Creator is basically a low-code application developing platform. It helps you build custom application for your unique business requirements. Zoho Creator offers an easy-to-use drag-and-drop interface. This makes the application building process a non-luxurious thing for people without extensive coding skill and app building knowledge. The application built in Zoho Creator can be accessed in devices of all size, ranging from mobile to computer simultaneously. Speaking of Zoho Creator, it is in the business for 15 plus years with 14K plus trusted customers. It has 7 million plus apps built on top of it with 6 million plus users using them. Coming on to the next slide, Zoho Creator provides a range of UI level customization options. I have displayed few of them here. Let's start with theme. Creator offers 9 distinct themes that can alter the complete UI of your application. Additionally, developers have flexibility to select color combination for this theme from here. And coming on to report, Zoho Creator offers 8 different types of report that cater different business requirements. For example, calendar to display the data in a calendar view, and map reports can be used to display the locations in a map. And reports further lets layout customization of the record data displayed. Here are a few examples for it. By default, list report with standard layout is created. You can further customize it based on your requirement. Also, it will be possible to design your own template to display data in it. This is done using a record template. These templates can be used to design invoices, certificates, prescriptions, etc. These templates can be further printed, exported, and attached in emails. Also, on popular demand, we have now rolled out a new feature, that's Canvas. This Canvas take the template customization part to next level. You can further print and export this Canvas design as well. And finally, there is Pages. Pages contains various drag and drop configuration options like charts, panels, and buttons. These are used for visual information. Also, additionally, Pages also have HTML and XML snippet for layout design and to display static and dynamic data with the use of deluge. And these are the various default options available. But when you would like to take complete control of the front end, widget comes into the game. Widgets are not just for UI level customization. Widget mainly focus on third-party incorporation. When you like to build something completely from scratch with third-party incorporation and take control of every inch of the page, widgets can be used. A great example for it would be live tracking that can be easily achieved using third-party incorporation with Zoho Creator. To give an intro of widgets act as a powerful add-on to the built-in features. It is used to extend the capabilities of your Zoho Creator application so that you could perform tasks that could not be accomplished using the built-in features. And here are a few ways for using widgets. First, it lets you take complete control of the front end, and it redefines the way your application interacts with the customers. It helps you create and customize features that are specific to your business requirement. And finally, it lets you incorporate that party with your application. Speaking of hosting, there are two widget hosting options available, internal and external. Internal is when the whole widget is designed, packed, and uploaded inside Creator as a zip file. External is when you have your own website running and you like to host it inside Zoho Creator. For internal testing, you need to develop and upload the widget zip file. For external, you just need to paste the website URL and add the widget to Zoho Creator. And here, this is an illustration of how widget is positioned in Zoho Creator. Widget contains a code combination of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and other front-end languages, and other necessary file packed as a zip file. This zip file is uploaded into Creator further. Getting on to next slide. Well, here we have depicted the complete overview of widget configuration process. It starts with downloading the CLI tool. This helps you create and integrate the widget. After downloading the CLI tool, a project has to be created in the system. This project contains all the necessary files for the widget configuration. These files are auto-generated when the project is created. After the project is created, you can start development process. The display page configuration is done in the HTML file inside the app folder. Once the development is completed, you may now test the UI level modification in the local system. After testing is completed, the changes are validated and packed as a zip file. Now, as a final step, the packed zip file is uploaded into the Creator application. Let's now see the process one by one in detail. As mentioned, the first and foremost step will be downloading the CLI tool. CLI or command line interface is used to send commands to a software program. This commands is sent as lines of text to interact with them. This interaction is basically typing commands and receiving a response for it. Z is the command line interface that helps you build and pack widget in Zoho Creator. As a first step, before installing the ZApp client node package, Node.js source code has to be downloaded. As this is for a prerequisite for the CLI installation. After downloading, the command node v and npm v can be used to verify the installation. Successful download and installation of Node.js will return the version on running those two commands. After making sure of the installation, now the ZApp CLI node package can be installed. The command npm install g Zoho extension toolkit needs to be run for the installation. Now, after successful installation, you can now start creating the project. Zinit. Zinit is the command that is run to initiate a new project. When a new project is created, all the Zoho services will be listed. Select Zoho Creator and give a name to the project. Immediately, when you give a name to the project, a project folder is created in your system. And this is the structure of the folder, and all these files will be auto-generated. All the files that are required for rendering a widget will appear inside the app folder in the project generator. Here, widget.html is used to design and develop the display page of the widget. And developing the widget would be next step. The widget.html file inside the app folder contains a basic HTML code with a heading tag. It just displays a heading here. You can further develop the desired page in this HTML file. This HTML file is the one incorporated as display page of the widget. You can also rename the file based on your preference. Now the changes made are tested and packed. In order to test the UI level changes made in the HTML file, zrun command is used. The zrun command will start a local HTTP server that allows you to test the changes made before it is validated and packed. This will run the HTTP server in your local machine in port number 5000. Zrun commands gives you an URL. This URL needs to be opened in a web browser. This will display all the HTML files in the app folder. You can test the UI level changes of the HTML file you would like to test before it is uploaded into the Creator application. After testing, the changes has to be validated and packed. zvalidate is used to validate the changes made in the file. Once the validation is successful, it can be packed using zpack. Once the zpack is run, it will generate a zip folder inside the disk folder in the project Creator. This is the file that needs to be uploaded to Creator. And finally, uploading the widget generated into the Zoho Creator application. So the zip file generated has to be uploaded in widget session in the settings page. Here, first you need to give a name to the widget, select internal hosting, and you need to upload the zip file that is generated in the disk folder. And the index file is the name of the HTML file inside the app folder. The index file has to be mentioned with a slash in front of it. In case if you have moved this HTML file to a new folder created in the same app folder, you can use the another format, slash, the new folder name created, and another slash, now the index file name. And that's all with the configuration. Now let's see about whitelisting. By default, widgets are allowed to access only the creator URLs. All other URLs will be blocked. When an URL with a different base domain is used, content security error is displayed. To use any client library within the widget, the whitelisting of URL should be done. The domain needs to be added in the plugin -manifest.json folder in the project Creator. Once the domains are whitelisted, you will be able to use these domains without any issue. And speaking about communication, you might wonder how this external widget and the creator is communicating. Like two humans have languages as a source of communication between them, the communication between the external widget and the creator is achieved using JS API. JS API acts as a bridge of data communication between the widget and the creator. Here are a few JS API that helps in data communication. So add record to add a new record in the form, update record to update an existing record, get all record gets all the record in the form, and I can get a specific record using the record ID, and you can get the count of records in a form. You can delete a record, or you can also upload a file to a record. And now let's see few points to remember with regards to the APIs. The first one, the success of API call to push or pull data in other apps depend upon the permission provided for the user of the app. If the user who is triggering the JS API, for example, add record or update record, if the user doesn't have access to a specific module or application, the JS API will not be successful and the data communication will not be performed here. And get record API will display the data displayed in both the detailed and quick view. And in a single API call, only maximum of 200 records can be deleted. And finally, an important thing is JS API will not work on a published page. And let's also see there are few more JS APIs available for different use cases and different scenarios that can be used. Let us see those one by one now. First one is getQuery getQuery param is used to get the value passed to the page parameter. When you like to use a value passed to the page parameter, this JS API is used. This will store the parameter value in the query param variable. When you have multiple parameters, you can get a specific parameters value. You can use this syntax: variable dot the specific page parameters name. So let me show you an example for this. Here in this example, when the button is clicked, the widget is opened, and the ID of that specific record is passed as a parameter to the page where the widget is configured. Inside the widget, getQuery param JS API is used to get the ID passed as a parameter. It is get inside, and the data is displayed in the page. Further responsive actions can be triggered from it. And next one is get init param. This is used when you like to get the email ID of the login user accessing that widget. This is a response returned, and it also have some app related data like the environment detail, its scope, name, and other details. You can further extract the data from the response and use it. And finally, there is navigate parent URL. This JS API will help you to navigate between URLs in the same window. For example, you would like to open a URL in the same page where the widget is configured. From inside the widget, you can use this navigate parent URL JS API. So let me show one example for this as well. So in this example, when the form is filled, it takes the user to a verify captcha page configured as a widget. This page is to make sure the form is not filled by any robots. Once the correct option is selected, the user has to redirect it to a different form in the same page. So this is achieved using this navigate parent URL JS API. Let me now play this video. So here the user is entering data to the form, clicking on submit, and you could see they are being redirected to a widget in the same page. So they are entering the wrong option. It's not allowing them to submit. So when they select and the validation is successful, they are being redirected to a different form inside the same page from inside the widget. This is where this navigate parent URL JS API is used. Let me now show you the JS API structure. It starts with downloading the latest JS SDK library from the CDN URL. This is done by just placing the below CDN URL in the script tag in the HTML code which is written in the widget.html file. After downloading, the SDK has to be initialized. This initialization is done using these block of code. Once initialized, the required JS API can be used inside it. Let me show you the complete structure of how this code combination. Let me show you the complete structure. And this is a complete structure. So as mentioned, the JS SDK is downloaded using the CDN URL. This is just placed in the script tag and it's downloaded. Now as a next step, it has to be initiated. And this SDK is initiated here. And inside this and get record JS API is triggered. This is a complete structure. And let me show the response. This is a response returned by and get record API. So the data stored in the form will be returned in JSON format. You can further extract the required data from these JSON response and use it further inside the widget. And this is an important thing. So let me now show you. You would have configured multiple workflows in the form. So let me show you the workflows that will be triggered when some JS API is performed from inside the widget. So on add record, when add record JP is used and a new record is added, the script configured on validation on form submission and successful form submission will be get triggered. And when an existing record is updated, the script configured on update of a field, validation on a submission, and successful form submission will get triggered. When a record is deleted, the workflow is configured on validation on deletion, and successful record deletion will get triggered. And let me show you few limitations of the widget. The maximum size of widget zip file must not exceed 10 MB, and you can create up to 50 widgets in your Zoho Creator account. And the number of files inside the widget zip file must not exceed 250. And the maximum size of the file inside the widget zip file must not exceed 5 MB. And these are regarding the names. Widget zip file must not exceed 10 characters and can contain alphanumerics. The file name inside the widget zip file must not exceed 50 characters and can contain alphanumeric. The folder name inside the widget zip file can contain alphanumeric. That's all with the limitation. Now let me show you here a few use cases here. In a video format, let me show you a few. So the first one is achieving multi-stage form. You can design and responsive and appealing multi-stage form. Here, the data is submitted to creator only after the data is entered in all the stages of form. When the first stage is filled, they will be redirected to the next page. And once the data is filled for all the stages, the data is pushed into the Zoho Creator application. And here, there is another application made for live tracking. This application lets the ambulance driver share their live location, so the police can check on it and clear the traffic in the path. This application has two widgets, one for sharing the location and another one for displaying the location on map. Now let me play this. So you could see the driver is accessing the first widget and sharing the location, and the coordinates are captured here and stored, and it's being captured, and the police accesses the map and they could see the live location of the ambulance and clear the way according to it. This widget also displays the distance between the police and the ambulance location. That's all with this. Let's now get into the demonstration part. So I have opened the help documentation for widget configuration. This help documentation has a detailed explanation of the widget and step-by-step guidance for the widget configuration. So let me show you the steps, and these are basic explanation of widget. And let's get into the first step. That's downloading Node.js source code. This is done as a prerequisite for the CLI installation. So this Node.js source code can be installed from this link. Once you access the link, the Node.js source code for different OS are listed. You can download it depending on your OS of the system. I already have it downloaded. So now let's get into the next step. So when it's downloaded, so to verify this installation, these two commands are used. That's nodeb and npmv. These commands has to be run in terminal or command prompt. So let me open terminal here. I open terminal. Now let me run these two codes to verify the installation. Node-v and npm-v. The successful installation of this Node.js source code will return the version of it. And you could see both the command run has returned the version, which means the installation is successful. Now let's get into the next step. So once the prerequisite is done, the next thing is installing the ZApp CLI node package. This is done using the command npm install -g Zoho extension toolkit. Let me run this command and install the ZApp client node package now. I'm copying this command. And I'm using the sudo part to run this command as admin in Mac. If you are using different system, you can just ignore this. I'm entering the password. And it's getting installed now. Let it get installed. So to ensure the successful installation of this zapp CLI node package. Z is the command used for verify this installation. So you could see the installation is done. So let's now verify it. It is done using Z. On running this, you can see the version details and the commands you can use further for the configuration is listed. So it again implies that the installation is successful. And let's now start creating a project. So first, zinit is the command used to initialize a project. Now let me initialize a project here. It is initialized. Once initialized, all the products will be displayed. We have to choose Zoho Creator here for now. I'm selected Zoho Creator. So once you select Zoho Creator, it will ask you to give a name for this project. So let me give a name here. I'm naming it sample widget. And once this name is given, it is successfully initialized. So once it is successfully initialized, the project you just initiated will be created in your system. And you could see the folder is created here with all the necessary files auto-generated. And here plugin -manifest.json is where the whitelisting is done. Let me open this and show you. And by default, you will have this source code in it. Here, connection/source is where the domain has to be added. You can add multiple domains that you would like to whitelist. So this will avoid the content security error. So you can add the domains here and save it in the project folder. Let's skip this now. And you could see app folder here. And inside that folder, you could see a HTML file. This is where all the development is done. This is a display page of the widget. This is uploaded as an index file, and the page developed here, the HTML code inside this will be displayed in the page where the widget is configured. So let's now pack this. Let me show the code inside this now. By default, we have a simple HTML code inside this file. I'm opening this code. Now we could see by default, you will have this code here. It's just a HTML code which displays a heading in it. So let's first upload this one and let's make the further development later. And we can see after the developments are done, it needs to be validated and packed. Let's now validate and pack the existing HTML file. To that, let's first get into the directory that's done by change directory and enter the name of the project we just created. We have got into the directory. Now it has to be validated and packed. Let's first validate it. And you could see the validation is successful. And let's now pack this. And you could notice when the changes are successfully validated and packed, a new folder is created in this project. That's this. Inside the disk, you could see a zip file. So all the changes have been generated as a zip file inside the disk folder. This is a zip file that needs to be uploaded inside the create application. Now let me show the uploading process. So here I have a simple application with 3 fields. So to upload a widget, go to the edit mode of the application, settings, and you could find widget under the developer tool option. So I'm getting into the widget, new widget. Let me give a name to it. Let's call it sample widget. And it's internal. So widget file is where the zip file that generated has to be uploaded. So this is a zip file just we generated. So this will be inside the dist folder. I'm adding this in the widget file. So for index file, the HTML file inside the app folder, the name of these file has to be mentioned with a slash in front of it. If you have renamed, you can use the renamed one. And if you have moved it further into a different folder inside this app folder, you can mention the folder name first and then the HTML file name. So since I have not done any changes, I'm mentioning the default name, widget.html create. And you could see that the widget is successfully added. So once added, now the widget has to be displayed. To display a widget, the page component is used. So let me create a page now to display the widget we just added. I'm creating a page. Let's name it widget. It's created. Once the page is created, you could see all the options on left. There you could find widgets in the bottom. Widgets, custom. Once you go to the custom, all the widgets uploaded inside this application will be listed here. So it's just easy. You can just drag and drop the required widget here. It's displayed. And let me show you the live mode of this now. This is the live mode of the application. I'm reloading this. We could see the page we just created here. I'm opening the page and you could see the content which was inside this HTML file is displayed here. So whatever the change you make here, validate and packed will be displayed when the widget is dragged and dropped into the page. So this is a simple page. Now let's make further modification in this page. And let me also show you how JS API can be configured. So now let's get into this file. We have already opened it here. So let's now erase this. So this is a simple HTML code. This is a CSS for beautifying. And you could see this HTML page contains 3 fields to collect different data like name, email, and phone number. So I have 3 fields, and at last I have a submit button. On the submission, a function get data is called. So this is a simple form. Let's now configure a add record JS API inside this. So inside the function where I am calling this, I have declared 3 variable, and in the 3 variable, I have inserted the data the user has input in those 3 fields. Now on clicking this, in these variables declared, this data is stored. And further, I have configured a if condition. And this will get triggered, the JS API will get triggered only if the user enters data to those fields. If not, the else part get triggered and an alert will be displayed in the page asking the users to fill data to those fields. So let's now go on and configure this JS API. So let me first get into the JS API documentation. Okay, let's now follow the step one by one. The first step is downloading the latest JS SDK. As mentioned, this is download using just placing this CDN URL in the HTML script. You can just copy this and place it in the script tag in the HTML script. And yeah, I have already pasted this here. You could see it needs to be placed in the script tag. And once placed, it's successfully downloaded. So it's downloaded. So let's now get into the next part. Next part is initializing the SDK. So this initializing is done using this block of code. Now let me initialize this. It's successfully initialized. So after initializing, any JS API needs to be configured inside this block of code. The code needs to be written here after initializing. So let's now configure an add record API that gets all data entered and push it into a Zoho Creator form. Let's get into add record API, and this is the structure and or syntax of the add record API. Let me copy this. and paste this. So now let's see what are the necessary data that needs to be entered for this add record API. It asks for app link name, form link name, and data. So app link name is nothing but the link name of the app to which you are going to insert the data. Let me get it. And this is the app, and the app name is add data. It's mentioned. So the first step is done. Now the form link name has to be mentioned. So this is the form to which we are going to insert data. And the field link, the form link name is customer data. I'm copying this from here and pasting it here. It's done. Now the final part, data. So we are going to input or insert data into multiple fields. So to achieve this, the data part, the complete data has to be constructed as a JSON format and then inserted. You could see a sample JSON for almost all fields here. So it is a variable, and further you could map the link names and the value that needs to be inserted to it. You need to construct a format like this. This is inserted to the data in JS API. So let's now construct this format. Let me declare a variable. Let form data is equal to, and first step would be have the spacing a key data. Further field data are configured as a map for this. So first data, so now let's map the field link names and the data that needs to be pushed into it. So here we have 3 fields. I have similar 3 fields in this form. We are going to push those 3 field data to these fields. Let's now take the link name of these fields. I'm opening the edit view of this form. And let me first take the field link name of the name field. It's done. And I have mapped the value stored in this variable to the name field. So next we can take the field link name of email, place here, and the data stored in this email variable is mapped to it. It's done. And finally, let's map the phone field link name data. So field link name is copied. Now the data stored in this variable has to map for this. And you could see we have constructed the JSON here. So now the JSON is stored in the variable form data. This variable has to be mentioned in the data part. So this is the complete structure. So let me show the complete structure now. 3 fields getting data on submit. The function is called. So inside the function, the JS API is configured. Initializing the JS SDK, downloading, and it is initialized here, and JS API is written inside. And let me save this. Now the widget.html file is updated. And as we all know, the next step would be validating and packing this. Let's now validate and pack this. We are already inside this same directory. So let's straight away validate and pack this. Validation is successful. Now the packing has to be done. Z pack. It's successfully packed. Now let's upload this widget to the Zoho Creator application. The same steps. Let's now delete the existing widget. You can add multiple widgets, but for a better experience, I'm deleting the existing one and adding the new one to the page. So let's first upload this into the creator. Add data. Let me name the widget add data. widget file, the same zip file generated, added, and next file, it's the same widget.html, and it's created. Now let's add this to the page. So widgets, custom. So then now the latest added widget is listed here. I'm dragging and dropping this. Let me show the live view. Oh, sorry, I have. The file is added now. I'm dragging and dropping this. And you could see the form is displayed here. So let me first try submitting this without the data in it. And you could see an alert is displayed to and asking me to fill data to this field. So I'm closing this and filling data to it. And I'm submitting a data. You could see the data is added successfully. And let me show the data here. And you could see the data we just added is moved to this report. So that's how the JS API is done. So, and you could see we have made changes and uploading this. So it won't be convenient to make changes every time, test it, pack it, and upload it and see the changes made. So to make these things easy, zrun command is used. Zrun enables you to test the UI level changes in your local system. Now let me show you how you can test the UI level changes in your local system before it is uploaded into the Zoho Creator application. Get into the terminal. We are already inside the same directory. Let me run run command. On running this command, you will get an URL as a response. You can copy this URL. This URL needs to be opened in a web browser. I'm opening this in a web browser. When you open it in a web browser, all the HTML file inside the app folder is displayed. So you can further test the UI level changes of the HTML file you would want to test. I'm opening this and you could see the UI is displayed here. When you make any changes, you can first check the UI level changes here before validating our pattern. Before all the process, you can check this thing here and validate it after this. And that's all with the configuration process. Now let me show you a few widgets that are in my system. So first one, and this is a fully functioning e-commerce application. The use case of this application is headphone selling. The application is a combination of purchase, inventory, and order making. So vendor modules is to store all the vendor details, and purchase module is to get stocks from the vendor, and inventory module is to maintain stock. And obviously it needs to have a module to make orders, right? It is possible to build an order making form easily using the built-in features. But when you like to give an appealing user experience for the customers, you can design the desired order making page using widget. So let me show the widget I have designed. You could see all the data from the inventory is fetched and displayed here. And we have also given categories. So it is being separated based on categories and displaying. So you are also get to have a filter. This can be filtered using search. I'm searching with a specific module and you could see the results are displayed. And you can add to cart things from here. It also has dark mode. You can check on your cart from here. All the things you have added to the cart will be displayed here. And you can also further make order from here by redirecting the user to a form. It's displayed here. You can further configure a payment workflow or something to make them pay and make the order. So let me also show a few other. This is also a similar use case. This is a dealership where they sell tiles and wallpapers. It works the same way. It gets all the tiles, images, and data from the inventory, and it's displayed here. You can just click on it and make order. So you can click whatever you want, and you could see it is added to a panel in the right. The quantity is added, the amount, and the total amount will be auto calculated. You can add any number of products from here. If you add a product again and again, only the quantity amount will be updated and total will be updated based on it. So once you select the products, you can further just make the orders and invoice designed will be displayed. You can further make order in it. And here is another application for a different use case. This should be an interesting one. And the use case of this application is seat booking for events and meetings. So here, let me show you. I'm booking a seat now. Here to give a visualization of a conference room while booking widget is used. It has the exact digital replica of the conference room and the seating placements. So when the user books the seat, they would be able to know well in advance the exact location so that they can choose their preferred seat and they won't be disappointed when this comes straight away into the room. So this one, let me make a booking and show you. I'm choosing dates, searching for the seats, and you could see all the available seats will be displayed here. And green mentions all the seat is available and all the date is displayed. You can select further and book the seat. And these are just a simple configurations or simple things that can be achieved using widget. You can create much more complicated, responsive, or appealing widget based on the level of user experience you want your users to have. And that's all with the widget examples. Please feel free to post any questions if you have in the questions tab. I will be happy to answer things for you. And we have a question. Let me project it now. Which Zoho tools support widgets? I guess you are asking about the Zoho products which support widgets. Zoho Creator supports widget. I'm not sure about other products. Please reach out to the specific product to know if they support widget or not. I'm not the right source to answer this question actually. We are from Zoho Creator, specifically from Zoho Creator team. Any other questions? And we have another question. Let me project this one. You said you cannot publish a page with the widget. You can publish a page, but the JS API will not work on a published page. And if you have other components, that will work, but specifically the JS API will not work. If publishing the page would be possible, but the JS API will not work. That's the point. Do we have, let me project the question. Do we have control over where the widget project? Yeah, that can be located. You can take it and place it anywhere you would prefer. That's not an issue. You can place it anywhere you want. Can you show the source code for one of your demos? I guess you are asking the widget source code. Okay, let me show one for you. Just give me a moment. So I have multiple HTML file here. Let's ignore this and get into this one, I guess, e-commerce. Yeah, it's here. Let me show you how this works. These are basic CSS thing, and these are the sections up there. Here, the JS SDK is downloaded. It's initialized. So let me show how this is done. So the first thing for the separation part, for the category part, I'm passing a query parameter. I'm using as a query param to get the value sent to the page parameter, and I'm using this inside the criteria. I'm setting criteria for this based on the page parameter sent, and I'm this with the page parameter. The records are filtered based on this criteria, and all the records are fetched. So I'm iterating to the response. Here I'm iterating, and here I have constructed the panel here, and I am appending this to the main HTML tag. And for these are for search. On click of the search button, I have configured things to loop inside, and this is just modifying the CSS. This is hiding the CSS. Search part is done using this, and you could see the navigate parent URL thing. You could see the page parameters passed on the click of a button in the same widget. So here is where the navigate parent URL comes to the game. I'm opening this URL of the same page with an argument passed. So that's where the navigate parent URL is used. And this one is just an add record API to used for add cart. When add cart is clicked, the product is added to the cart. And these are search part, searching part, and this is for dark mode, and this part. That's with it. And any other questions? Okay, hope that's all with the question, I guess. And please take a moment of yours to share us your valuable feedbacks. This helps us grow and enhance these things in future. Let me also share the survey URL in the tab in the chat. I'm putting this in the chat. Please take a moment and share your feedbacks. And for new users, you can please use this URL. Let me also paste this URL in the chat. You can use this URL to sign up to Zoho Creator, and you will get a trial period to evaluate the application completely. You can evaluate the product. You will also be provided support like chats and calls. You can make use of it, evaluate it completely. Please feel free to sign up for the Zoho Creator. And I would like to thank everyone for a time and joining here. Hope this was informative and you got something to take away from this webinar session. And you can use these two emails. Let me also paste these emails for you. You can contact us anytime on this email. So even if you have any doubts regarding this webinar or any doubt, you can drop your queries in any of these emails. We will be available and happy to help you with it. And hope that's all. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a great day. Bye bye.